Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Detroit Mayhem Sports Talk. It's Mac and Marty this morning. We're going to talk some Tigers baseball again because today is opening day, 2024. Now, it's not opening day in Detroit. That won't happen until April 5th, a reasonable time to start the season, I think, not on March 28th, but it is what it is.
I remember when it started on April 15th and 16th.
Yes, that's right. And when the weather is more reasonable here in the Midwest. Well, they're starting in Chicago, and I think it's only supposed to be 54, which isn't terrible. But last I looked, it was 31 there, and it's going to be cold today. It's not pleasant to sit in that weather and watch a game. That's for damn sure. So we're, hope springs eternal in the spring. 0-0 record. Everybody's got a chance. I like the Tigers over the White Sox today. I'm hoping for 2 out of 3 this series. April is important. The Tigers have stunk in April for the last few years, and I think if they're going to be competitive this year, and I do believe, and you can chime in with what you think about this, I do believe that the Tigers can win the division. I don't expect them to, but I think they can. What say you?
Not to be contrary, but I expect them to. The Twins definitely have a better. The Twins are the main competition, and they definitely have a better offense. But it looks like the Tigers are going to have better pitching, and at the end of the day, pitching beats offense.
Yes, I would not argue with that.
The Tiger and Edge, they're very deep. They've got a lot of arms in Toledo they can bring back. As a bit of an aside, I've read more than one article that expects the Mud Hens to win the International League. That's how Tigers are at that level. So I think they'll win the division. Guardians have a bit of an outside chance. No point even talking about the White Sox or the Royals. They're going to be barely blips on the radar this season.
Right. Well, you got to beat those teams, and today's the start of that. So I've had the sense that going back even into the Jim Leyland years, that there was this idea, even though I don't think they would say it, come out and admit it, but I think there was this idea that you can lose a certain amount of games and that some games are expendable. I don't think that's true at all. I think the early games are every bit as important as the later games, because at the end of the day, it's your final record that gets you in or out of the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they started last year 3-9 playing AL East division foes, and granted, that's a tough division, but that 3-9 record alone not probably, but may have cost them the decision. I mean, the division, they finished 9 back of the Twinkies. So 3-9 start certainly doesn't help. I mean, they were 7-25 against the AL East last year. They got to improve on that.
I think their April record, if I'm someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure in the comment section, but I think they were 7-17. That's not going to get it. They will put themselves in a hole, and the Twins are an experienced team. And while I don't think they're necessarily better than the Tigers, I think that could make a huge difference. So are there any players you're excited about? Because I have a couple that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, we're supposed to be excited about Colt Keith. I don't see any reason not to be excited about him other than that he's very, very green. Parker Meadows, we said last week he's got wheels. He had a good spring hitting wise. I think he hit around 500 in the spring. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Riley Green, if he can stay healthy. I mean, I'm not sure the Tigers are going to be that bad offensively if the guys that can produce do produce. But yeah, I'd say Keith and Parker Meadows in particular look really, really good.
He's a player I'm excited about. I'm also excited about Tarek Skubal. First off, I hope he can stay healthy. I think he's certainly, I don't know about this year, but he's certainly got the potential to be a multi-year 20-game winner.
I think so. Go ahead.
Casey Mize is returning. That's That could be huge. You know, you hope you get something out of your veteran pitchers in Maeda and Flaherty. Flaherty pitched after we did our last video, and I was kind of on him a bit. He pitched very well since then.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think the Tigers. I think the Tigers going to have to hit more home runs, and more importantly, just strike out a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
I know the sabermetrics fans say that they won't tell you that a sacrifice fly is all that important, but the Tigers with no outs very often and 3 outs, or I'm sorry, 1 out, couldn't bring the man home from third.
Yeah.
And that hurts your pitching so badly.
Well, you know, there's an old saying, of course, that you play to your strengths, but I think there's a degree to which you play to your weaknesses too. And I mean, to use that as an example, you know, the sabermetricians will say, you know, the strikeout's not that important, but I'd rather get the sac fly with the guy on third than the strikeout. So if your weakness is offense, then if your weakness is your offense, then you got to worry about the strikeouts and you got to put the ball in play, which means sac flies.
Hell, there are so many occasions last year, had they hit into a double play, they would have scored a run.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's very, very frustrating as a fan, and I'm sure it's frustrating for the team, but the difference is they're the pros. They're getting paid for it, and we're paying for it.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot less strikeouts will go a long way. Putting the ball in play is going to be very important. Do you think there's going to be any 20-game winners on this staff?
Nope.
I don't think so either. And one of the reasons I don't think so is I think that's why you see less 20-game winners across the majors, because the manager, I mean, these games are so, and this is my complaint about A.J. Hinch and some other Tiger managers in recent years, is they seem to have scripted the game. You know, okay, this guy's going to go so far, and then this guy's going to come in, and it just doesn't always work out like the script would have you think it would. But
so it doesn't. That's where the script, the sabermetrics control the game too much, and we've taken away the human elements. Like, well, he's at 98 pitches, he's got to go, and it's like, but I think a good famous example was the 2020 World Series. Was it Tampa and L.A., where the Tampa pitcher was just lights out, but they took him out after the second hit he gave up in the 6th inning because the book said, well, now he's going down the tube. It's like he pitched 5 2/3 innings of 2-hit ball, but the second you get that second hit, he's got to go. And the Dodgers came back and won, and they won the World Series. So,
yeah, it goes to the second time through the lineup, he's this, that, or the other thing. I kind of like to see what happens. Let him go. I mean, of course, here's the thing. We're not privy to the conversations on the mound. He says, I got nothing left. You don't know that. That's one of the things you just don't know as a fan.
Yeah, that's very true, and you don't know that. And but we've gotten so far. The human element is so far removed from the game anymore that it's almost pathetic. It's just like, why don't we just build robots and play the game if we're going to do like you say and script it out and this, and we're done.
Well, that's kind of what happens. I mean, if fathers were not taking sons and daughters to baseball games, their version of baseball would be the robots, if you will, in regard to MLB, whatever PlayStation game there might be, or Xbox game. That's what kids are interested in. Yeah.
I mean, you don't, we talked last week about being old guys lamenting things, and I'm going to do it again. Yeah, we went out and played pickup baseball when we were 10, 11, and 12. I don't see kids. I mean, I see organized T-ball and on up, but I don't see kids just out there in the field playing games on their own because they're playing in the X. And, to extrapolate a little too far, that's happening in all sports. Well, they're not. Youth football players is down. Youth basketball's down. Youth hockey's down because it's easier for the kids to play it on TV, and it's easier on the parents because it's cheaper and they're right there.
Yeah, and they don't have to leave the house, and there's no fee involved other than the $600 or so for the Xbox. But I can remember when we were younger and we played ball. Hell, we made fun out of the fundamentals. We would practice tagging up and trying to beat the throw home.
Oh yeah,
or to the next base. So
So was third
So
base.
before we wrap it up, tell me what you think. How many wins are the Tigers going to get this year? Last year they came in at 78. As you pointed out, they were 9 games under or behind Minnesota, which isn't close. That's a pretty solid win for the Twins. But so what number is in your mind
I
to
think
win the
85,
division?
86, 85 or 86.
I
I think
agree.
the A's is going to win the Central Division. I mean, it won it last year. Twins at 86, I think, last year.
Right.
Maybe it's 87, but yeah. I'm going to say 86. That's going to be
Well, Vegas, who they analyzed the hell out of this, and they've got everything into it. So they're projecting the Tigers at like 76 wins.
Yeah, I don't see that. They're
which
better
is
than
two less than last year. I don't see it either. Not with the pitching. I guess it comes down to a few factors, like if Javi Baez continues his ways, how long do they keep putting him in the lineup? I mean, are they going to get stubborn and say, we're paying this guy? I heard a good analogy yesterday on 97 Won the Ticket. Mike Stone was responding to the comment, "Oh, it's easy for the fans to spend the owner's money," and that's true. However, the fans are spending their money too. But Stone's point was, well, what do you get? You're going to pay him $98 million over the next 4 years. What are you getting for your 98? Would you rather get nothing, or would you rather pay him $98 million and get a poop sandwich for your money? Because those are the choices, I think.
Those are pretty much the choices. Yeah. If I could walk back a little bit, as our friend Jen Psaki used to say, you mentioned what the Vegas odd makers have the Tigers doing. One of the interesting things I came across getting out of the AL Central was they seem to think the Orioles are going to win the AL East, but only with 90 wins. That's an 11-game drop out of a team that seems to be a pretty premier team, or on the verge of being premier. But they've also got the AL East as having 4 of the 5 teams with at least a 1 chance in 5 of winning the division. But the predictions and all that, that you play the games because you don't know what the numbers are going to be. But talk about 76 for the Tigers, and you think Baltimore are going to lose 11 fewer games this year? I don't know how worthwhile those numbers
11 more games.
11 less games. Yeah.
To use your example, I think there's a bit of bait there to get bets, because it's obvious they're going to. I only see them. I don't see them getting better necessarily, because 101 wins is a lot. But I would put them in the 97 to 100 win range.
An 11-game drop is huge.
And still win the division.
They win the division at 90 and 72 from several of those sources I've read. And but I mean, that would be a video in and of itself. Is all this betting and gambling stuff good for sports or not?
Yeah. Well, that's one we can do here in the future. So you say 85. I say 85. I think they can win the division. Not sure they're going to. It depends on how much they strike out. And of course, and this is true for every team, if they could stay healthy. If Riley Green can stay on the field, if Tarek Skubal, Casey Mize could stay in the starting rotation, although they are deep in pitching. I mean, you got Matt Manning ready to step in. Bo Brisky didn't give up an earned run in the spring and didn't make the team.
Set down.
That's the second year in a row, by the way, a Tiger pitcher has given up zero earned runs in the spring and didn't make the team. Last year it was Diaz, who, by the way, got put on waivers. I don't know if he's been picked up by anybody or not yet. But
there you go again. That's that human element thing anymore. The numbers guys say Brisky's got to go down. It's like, what's a guy got to do to earn a spot on a team if he's really competing against a book?
Yeah, he's got options.
He's competing against a book.
He's got options, and we'll see how it all plays out. I'm hoping to enjoy the season, even if they don't win the division. Even if they, I just like them to be competitive and entertaining to watch, because that is why I watch baseball anyway, is to be entertained.
You better believe it. And to throw one more quick thing in, we were talking about players. Parker Meadows they're talking about how many bases he might steal this year, but that's another thing the sabermetricians frown on, are stolen bases.
Right.
Oh, they really don't help. They really don't help. It's like, I don't know, advancing 90 feet, that strikes me as something that can help. And they're almost talking out of both sides of their mouth. Stolen bases don't mean anything. Parker's going to steal bases.
I think, I'm old school like yourself. I do believe that stealing bases is important.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're coming from with that, but that's the way baseball's going.
I don't math either, no, but
I mean, if you're on second as opposed to first, you get yourself out of the double play, which keeps you in the inning. You can see the catcher's signs, and every team, despite their claims of moral superiority, are stealing signs.
Yeah.
And I'm for that. If you can figure out what the other guy's trying to do, I think that's part of the game.
I agree with you. I have no problem with that. I
don't consider it cheating. Now, when you use technology, that's another story.
Yeah, but like you say, being on second base, seeing the catcher, you're using information everybody in the ballpark's got.
And
it's not unlike Vegas hates the card counters, but what's the moral problem with it?
You're using information. If you're smarter than they are, too bad, I say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree 110%.
And I know both of us could go in there and be card counters because we're smarter than them. You know what? If they dealt me a hand, I'd struggle to count those cards. 5 or 2 in blackjack. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up, and we're hoping for a great season. Please share your thoughts in the comments section. So we're going to wrap it up with, hey, go Tigers, and we'll see you in the next one. Maybe we'll talk about some sports gambling issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
have a good one, folks.
Take care.